performance management was also handled a little differently at Alibaba. Tell us a little bit about how that worked.
So I think that you're probably referring to this model that we had early on of what, bulls, dogs, and rabbits. So, there was a real dearth of talent in the early days in China in terms of hiring for internet companies, because there were no real internet companies that you could hire from, and even IT and internet knowledge was scarce. So we often said, well, what's more important, skills or cultural fit? And we really came out with this. Obviously, the best would be you're a good cultural fit and you have good skills or high performance, right? So we came up with this kind of 4-quadrant matrix. You have abilities on the y-axis and then cultural fit on the x-axis. So if you were like a good cultural fit and a good and highly skilled or high performance, you're kind of up here in this quadrant, which is like, we call them the stars, or at least this area we call them, it's the bull ring. And that's where you want to be. But if you are like a good cultural fit but not a good performer, you are a rabbit. Okay, but rabbits could be trained to improve their skills, hopefully move up. If you had a poor cultural fit and you were a poor performer, you were here, you were like a dog. Okay, just the dogs, like you just kind of get rid of them. And then if you were a high performer but not a good cultural fit, what were you? You called a wild dog, meaning like you are doing great on your sales, whatever targets, or you're like really creating amazing products, but you are not representing the values of the company. And people always ask, well, what do we do with these people? And Savio, our first COO, said those people are the most dangerous because they are succeeding in terms of performance, but they're creating the wrong company culture. And in the long run, company culture is the most important for the company's success, because you're trying to model good behavior, not just get the short-term results. So these wild dogs, he said, you got to take them in the back and shoot them. You got to get rid of them. And that was a very difficult thing for us to accept, because as a manager, you want to meet your targets. And this is a high performer. They're helping you meet your targets. But they're also very dangerous to the company. And I think that because of that theory that Savio created early on, it actually helped to establish the right kind of company culture without risking kind of a deviation from what we wanted to become. And I also think it built a culture that was very cohesive, very much operating as one. And when we had to make decisions in terms of, okay, you have a hire, when you're interviewing them, skill versus culture, they would always opt for a better cultural fit, even if their skills aren't quite there, because they can be trained up. And I think that served the company well, because I think the company's strength in its culture is what allowed it to get through these very difficult times. Mm-hmm.